Hey everybody, thanks for joining me again. This is Mike. Hey, so I got a request to do a Paul Kelly song again, and I'm not sure what the backstory is on this. I was told, but I can't find that comment uh, again for the person who asked me to react to this. But it's supposed to be a real good tribute or a song about one of your politicians down there. It might have been a one of your native Aborigines that became a politician or something. I'm going on a very weak memory of what I read, but I know it had something to do with something good, and I uh, I hope y'all will understand. Let me bring it up what I'm seeing. Okay. Uh, we're fixing to get into it, but before we do, if you'd subscribe and hit the like button, man, it'll help this channel. And right now, this channel is being phenomenal. We've done so much good here. I think we're at 2,750 subscribers within the first month of being a channel. So, from what I've seen, that's pretty phenomenal. And it's not because of me. It's because of everybody, especially the Australians and the Kiwis. You guys, 99% of you guys are the reason why this channel is doing so good, man. And uh, I can't thank you enough. So, that being said, man, uh, let's saddle up and let's get right into it. Okay, here we go.
Gather round, people, I'll tell you a story, an 8-year-long story of power and pride. British Lord Vestey and Vincent Lingiari were opposite men on opposite sides. Vestey was fat with money and muscle. Beef was his business, broad was his door. Vincent was lean and spoke very little. He had no bank balance, hard dirt was his floor. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow. The Ranger were working for nothing but rations. But once they had gathered the wealth of the land, daily the pressure got tighter and tighter. The Ranger decided they must make a stand. They picked up their swags and started off walking at Waddy Creek. They sat themselves down. Now it don't sound like much, but it sure got tongues talking back at the homestead and then in the town. From little things, big things grow. From
Let me pause it. I backed it up for 10 seconds. You know, you guys have told me in some of these comments that your Paul Kelly is like Bob Dylan is up here in the States. And this is the first time listening to him. I've responded to two other songs that he's done, but this is the first time that I've listened to him that I agree with you. It's got a strong resemblance to a Bob Dylan song, and he's telling this story. And I just think it's interesting to see these guys dressed like they're dressed and they're out in the bush and they're barefooted. And but that's what they know, man. They were talking about this old man. In fact, I don't know how old he was here, but it looks pretty old. Uh, and he had a wooden floor. So I mean, I'm sorry, a dirt floor. And man, we just don't know how good we got it. Sometimes we bitch about a dollar when there's people without a dime, or we bitch about how hot it is, and how our air conditioner is having trouble keeping up. Yet there's people that lived their whole life off the land, so to speak, and yeah, don't have air conditioning. In fact, would probably be uncomfortable for a while uh, if somebody was to give them or they were to go to a hotel or a motel or something like that that had air conditioning. They might not be comfortable. I'm not sure. I knew when I grew up we didn't have air conditioning. I can't live without it now. But man, we had one big, we call it a swamp cooler, but because it was in southeast Oklahoma, uh, the humidity was too. Those things only really work if you have low humidity. Uh, and that was in a window that went into the living room. So none of the bedrooms, uh, nothing like that had air conditioning, and nobody I knew. So I mean, it wasn't like we were poor. It was like everybody was poor, or you could say everybody was the same. Everybody lived the same way, and there was no separation of classes, far as who had this and who didn't have this. We were all pretty much in the same boat where I grew up, and I don't have memories of bad times. I have memories of good times. I mean, everybody was just happy. Uh, and when I say I don't have memories, it's not like I'm blocking them out. It's like I can't think of, anything so bad like we have almost on a daily basis in today's America. Uh, I can't remember that being being where I grew up. Now, if you go back now, everybody that I grew up with who still lives there, they have air conditioning and things like that, and they've done real good for themselves, and I'm happy for them. I moved away in the '70s, and I never lived back up there. I go back up there, but I've never lived back up there in those hills uh, since then. But I'd sure love to. I'd love to go back to a simpler lifestyle, a simpler way of living, I guess. But you know, I may be totally off on this man right here. I'm having a little trouble, as y'all know. I've said this before. The Australian accent. I'm having a little trouble understanding his words or his pronunciation of his words. So after this is done, I'll look at the lyrics and read them. And but right now, I don't get me wrong. I'm hearing and understanding 90% of them, but I'm really having to concentrate to do that. Okay, man. So without further delay, let's get back into Paul Kelly from Little Things, Big Things Grow. And I agree with him.
Back at the homestead, and then in the town. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow. Vesting man said, I'll double your wages, 18 quid a week, you'll have in your hand. Vincent said, we're not talking about wages, we're sitting right here till we get our land. Vesting man roared, vesting man thundered, you don't stand a chance of a cinder and snow. Vince said, if we fall, others are rising. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow. Then Vincent Lingyari boarded an airplane and landed in Sydney, big city of lights. And daily he went round softly speaking his story to all kinds of men from all walks of life. And Vincent sat down with big politicians. This affair, they told him, it's a matter of state. Let us sort it out. Why, your people are hungry. Vincent said, no thanks, we know how to wait. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow. Then Vincent Lingiari returned in an airplane back to his country once more to sit down. And he told his people, let the stars keep on turning. We have friends in the South, in the cities and towns. 8 years went by, 8 long years of waiting, till one day a tall stranger appeared in the land. And he came with lawyers, and he came with great ceremony, and through Vincent's fingers poured a handful of sand. From little things, big things grow. From little things, big things grow. Well, that was the story of Vincent Lingiari. But this is the story of something much more. How power and privilege can unmove a people who know where they stand in the law. From little things, big things grow. 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 From little things, big things grow.
I wonder why that song did that at the last the last remaining minute. Um, yeah, I mean throughout history, or I would say throughout, let's say, the last 150 years, there have been a handful of men like Vincent Lignari, I think he called him, uh, who were just probably didn't have an ounce of education, yet were smarter than 10 men from the best colleges in the world, simply because this tall gentleman here who's dropping the dirt or the sand, I think is what they said on the video, dropping that into Vincent's hands, um, could not survive a day or 2 days out there in that bush having to fend for himself. Yet this old man grew up in that, and the knowledge that his ancestors handed down, and finally to him, uh, along with the knowledge of being righteous and being a good man. So I'm glad he stood up for his people. You know, it takes a strong man to do that. It's easier to go home and sit down and watch paint dry or watch birds fly or butterflies go by or whatever. It's a lot easier to do that. But when somebody cares about their people, it's this is not just him, uh, you know, saying or walk. I guess talking the talk. Vincent got up and it looked like he was on an age here. And I'm looking at this picture, and it looks like the bell bottoms like this might be in the 70s. So I imagine Mr. Vincent Lanyari uh, has gone on to his reward, but what a legacy he left for his sons and his daughters and his people. I mean, Lord, there's a famous guy named Paul Kelly singing a song about him. So I mean, good for him, man. Hope hope it eased some of the issues going on in his land. I don't think personally in the States or in Australia or New Zealand or anywhere where there's racial divide like this, I don't think it'll ever fully ever um, uh, be eradicated. I just, you know, I don't think it will be. It wasn't in my father's lifetime. It wasn't my grandfather's lifetime. And mine's getting closer and closer to being done here on Earth too. And I don't foresee it being done in my lifetime. Uh, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think so. But we could all learn something about Vincent. Paul Kelly, you did an excellent job, sir, and thanks for sharing that with the rest of us. And that's going to do it for me, Mike, here. Again, if you hadn't subscribed, please consider doing so. I try to do as many of these as I can. I get up early, I do them through my lunch, and then I'll do a couple after work. And then, you know, hug on the wife and tell her how much I love her for being supportive of me. So, yeah, man, till I see y'all again, I'll catch y'all down the road. And thanks for stopping by. And thanks if you're a subscriber. Thanks for becoming a subscriber to this Old Texans channel. Uh, I'll do my best to make you not regret it. Okay. All right, man. Until I see you again, guys. I'll see you.